Hello and welcome to another episode of Insightful Accountants QB Talks. Sorry, let me get my cheat sheet here in front of me. Just want to say good afternoon and thank you for joining us for this edition of QB Talks, App Neighborhood Watch featuring inventory, QuickBooks Connect update, and then kind of what's new with QuickBooks. Thanks to our presenters, Kelly Gonzalez and Kristen Serraldo, for sharing their insight with us today. Kelly is the founder of Totally Booked, Totally SEO, Ideation, Think Forward, Leading Lady Machine Works, and co-host of QB Talks. Kristen is the founder of the Friday Guide, Leading Lady Machine Works, a professional trier, and a co-host of QB Talks as well. Would also like to thank our series sponsor, Rewind. And Rewind Backups protects the critical data which runs your and your clients' businesses. Online accounting software products don't automatically save your transactions and files if they're accidentally deleted or deleted at all. And Rewind Backups, is the undo button for your online accounting software, automatically saving and restoring the latest version of your books. Rewind Backups are available for QuickBooks Online, Shopify, Shopify Plus, GitHub, Trello, Microsoft 365, and the BigCommerce, as well as dozens of other platforms currently in beta that they're working on. A couple of housekeeping items before I turn this over to Kelly is CPE is not available for this session. If you do have any questions, we ask you to put them in the Q&A panel. I do not believe chat is enabled, so you have to put them in the questions panel. And a link to the recording will be sent to you afterwards, and it can be found on our YouTube channel. Then once I go dark, I will also put the link to the YouTube channel in the chat. And I believe Kelly or Kristen will also put a copy of the slide deck in the chat for you as well. And that slide deck also will be sent to you as a follow-up to this webinar. It'll go out tomorrow at about the same time. So without further delay, I'll go ahead and turn this over to Kelly and Kristen. And I know with Kristen, I'm going to have to change her status from an attendee to a panelist. So she might be just a second after I do what I need to do. So Kelly, it's all yours.
Awesome. Hi, guys. So yes, as mentioned, Kristen is sending over the slide deck now so that I can pull it up. She was having some trouble getting in, but we are going to work around it. So thank you so much for that intro. As Gary mentioned, I am Kelly Gonzalez, the founder of Totally Booked. We are a bookkeeping firm that's based in New York City. Big QuickBooks fan, hence my t-shirt. And actually what we have for you today is something really exciting. In addition to our app updates and new apps that are in the ecosystem, we got to speak to Ted Callahan from Intuit QuickBooks, and he gave us some updates that are happening in the QuickBooks universe, so to speak, but then also in around QuickBooks Connect. So sorry, my dog has decided to join us. So when we got to talk to Ted, we got to talk about just some things that they're making, some changes around what they're making as a company to communicate better with accountants. So we wanted to make sure that we highlighted that for all of you guys so that you know where to go and how to give them the information that they're looking for, and then also kind of get the stuff off your chest or the stuff that's bothering you over time and just how the program works and all of that. They're looking for all of your feedback, which we will definitely go into detail with Ted on. The other thing is QuickBooks Connect, which is a really big deal and is coming up in about 3 weeks, I want to say. So a lot of us will be attending live for the first time in a couple of years. So we got Ted to tell us some of the details on that. We also have some inventory apps for you, since that was the theme for Insightful Accountant this month. So we always try to stick to the publications that they're doing and make sure that we're bringing you any content that matches, what they're publishing. So just give me a sec. I'm going to pull up the slide deck so that we can get started.
Hey, Kelly, and I do not see Kristen in as an attendee.
I told her to just come sit next to me since I'm at her house.
There we go.
Let's just do it that way. That just makes more sense. So I'm going to share my screen and we can go from there. I'm clicking through, sorry. Share screen. Okay. you are sharing your screen. Or Gary, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
I do see it, but I see it in not in full size. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You're-
I don't know how to make it any bigger.
I think
Kristen
you
is on
hit-
there if you want to add her.
Okay. If you want to hit, I think up in the upper top where it's that play slideshow. So where you've got the save button and then you go kind of 2 over to the right. I think that's your.
Oh yeah, no, I did that and I'm in slideshow
Oh,
showing you. If it's small, if it's too small, then I'm not sure.
I mean, I can see it from here. So your call.
I got kicked out and now I'm back. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's see. How do I do this? So sorry. There she is. All right, Kristen's here to save me because I can't figure out how to show you guys the full size.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
No worries. We were actually just pulling up the deck. I kind of explained what we had for the show today, and that's how
Great.
and all of the things. So
Great.
if you can make it display in full size, that would be even better because everyone was just seeing my tiny screen.
I can. Can everyone see my screen?
Yay, yes, that works.
Okay, Cal, I'm gonna let you talk and I'll forward.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I already did my introduction. If you just want to tell me a little about yourself.
Okay. So my name's Kristen Nice-Seraldo. I'm apparently not able to do tech today. Other than that, I own a firm that basically focuses on independent restaurants and bars. And yeah, just I love my niche. I love what I do, and I especially love working with other accountants and bookkeepers to help them love what they do more. Can you see? Am I advancing at all?
Oh, well, I see your team. Your watch team, sorry.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why it's like.
We are having all the tech difficulties today, guys. I'm so sorry. So are you able to go to the next slide or is it stuck? Stuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is too small. Yours is stuck in one place. We're really.
So that's good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing there. And I'm gonna share here, and that will be okay. So
That works.
today is brought to you by Rewind, which I love Rewind. Actually wish I could rewind a little of this day to day. They are great. If you make a mistake or mess something up in QuickBooks, or if a client messes something up, this is even more important, rather than having to go back and spend your precious time correcting every single thing that they've done, right? You can instead just roll back to the last rewind and start fresh.
I also
without
love
losing
that they
everything.
have backups. Sorry, they also do some other stuff, like they back up not just QuickBooks, they back up Shopify and some other e-commerce apps. So that helps my clients if they make a mistake there as well. There's a way to kind of undo it. So they're kind of like a magical little app that will let you undo the things. And I believe, Gary, you had a poll question. Did you want to launch it around this or did you want to wait?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and throw it up right now, and then you guys can dive all the way in. We have it disguised as a poll question, but there's actually like 4 parts to it. So just turn through those real quickly, and we'll let Kelly and Kristen do their things.
Cool.
We'll give about a
Get our
minute.
show on the road.
Exactly. Let's keep this open for about a minute, and then we'll let them continue on. So while people do that, we'll go back to always like to ask a goofy question while we're filling some airtime here. So I I usually go with food, but since we're in the changing seasons, we're going to go with what's your favorite season?
Ooh, mine is
Oh,
spring.
mine is too, actually.
I mean, I love
Uh,
summer and the beach, don't get me wrong, but I do like the coolness of spring, a little bit of a relief from the sun.
Yeah.
I
A
figured the
little
New
bit of
York ladies
starting
would love the
over.
winter. Figured y'all
Right.
love the winter.
I mean, it's pretty. I do like to look at the snow, but I don't enjoy shoveling it or any of the things that I have to do when it comes to that. So it's
That's what we
nice.
love about the South. So, all right. Well, I think everybody has participated who will participate. So thank you all. I'm going to close that out and tell us what you know, Kelly and Kristen.
Awesome.
Okay, so Kelly's gonna do really quickly, so we have enough time for it's about 25-minute interview or something, but we have some great apps to feature this time. And this month, Insightful Accountant is kind of focusing on inventory apps, as well as all the stuff upcoming with QuickBooks and QuickBooks Connect. So Kelly has a few inventory apps to feature.
Yes. So what we did, as Kristen just kind of mentioned, we decided to feature the ones that are going to be at QBC, so that if you're there and you want to check them out, right after this, you can kind of just go up to them and ask them some questions. So personally, I always enjoy walking the vendor floor, and so having a plan ahead of time is recommended. If you look at the sponsors and kind of detail out who you want to see, who to seek out when you're there, it's a little bit less overwhelming, especially if it's your first time going. So we, like I said, focused on inventory apps, specifically with Insightful Accountants publications this month. And the first one up is Activate, spelled with 2 C's. So when you pull them up, you'll see they are, I would say they are an inventory solution that will let you bring your small business, medium-sized business into that like ERP level or enterprise level. So they're helping you build out different manufacturing parts, production, different pieces, but you can also do purchasing in there. So purchase orders out to vendors, traceability, so tracking the production of your products, keeping track of when it comes in, the whole manufacturing process. They also have a really cool dashboard. So they let you use their dashboard and some reporting around keeping track of inventory as it relates to your business, not just QuickBooks. So what I like about it is it lets you, or lets your clients, I should say, have a little bit of a more complicated inventory process, but not having to bring that all into QuickBooks and kind of gunk it up, if you will. Right. So we know that QuickBooks Online specifically has a first in, first out kind of simple inventory solution. This gives you a bit more of an advanced option without having to worry about what's in QuickBooks Online as an inventory solution. They have been around since 2003, so 20 years in the game, still going strong. And they do they have a community of QuickBooks professionals. So if you look on their website, you'll be able to get more information about how to learn from them, learn from other users. You can reach out to them. Like I said, you can definitely talk to them in person if you're attending. But it gives you that room to grow. And I will say that about all 3 of the solutions that we've chosen for today, they do give you that room to grow, which is nice. So next up, actually, Chris, can you move me to the next slide? So order time is next. So order time comes from a company called Number Cruncher. So if you go to their website, you'll see that they have just a parent company. They've been around since '99, so long time. And I like that all the solutions that we have been around a long time. They do give you the sense that they're not going anywhere. They have a solid staff. They have a good process. They're not new to the scene, and so they've taken the time to invest in their people and in accountants and QuickBooks users. So that's important to us. And again, small to mid-sized business, which is most of our targets. So they are able to also, what I like with the e-commerce side of things, they're able to pull from different shopping carts, different checkout processes, and connect all of those things so that you're not overselling. You're not having to worry that you sold it in one place or it's sold out on Shopify, and now you have to worry about Amazon or eBay or something. They're able to update everything. And this one works with QuickBooks Desktop, which is probably very exciting for some of our users. I mean, some of our viewers. So they will work with QuickBooks Desktop, but they also have that cloud capability. So they have a mobile app. You can pull them up on your phone, or I guess in this case, your clients can pull them up on your phone. And again, automating purchase orders so that you can have your purchases sent out, replenish your stock, not having to run out of anything. They will also give you stats. They have a dashboard that you can use. And the other nice thing about this one is they let you do bundles. So I know we can create bundles in QuickBooks Online of different products. You can create bundles in here using one SKU. So if you have a client that does, let's say, gift boxes, or I just ordered shampoo and conditioner, right? So they come together as an option just under one purchase. You can bundle those things together without having to worry about different SKU numbers, but it will deduct inventory from both. The other thing that's nice, yeah. So the other thing that's nice is that they have custom user roles. So I know that we like to make sure that our clients don't screw things up. We also know that our clients like to make sure that their employees don't have access to too much or too little. And so they do allow you to create custom roles for the different people in the organization, which is great. And then last but not least, can you flip over to the next one? Okay, so Fishbowl is one that you guys have probably heard of and or have used in the past. They've been around a long time, so since 2001. They are capable of connecting to QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Canada, and Xero. So there's a lot of options there. They also do, and I've experienced this firsthand because a friend of mine has used them, and so I kind of took a look at the process. They have some great one-on-one training and implementation. So a lot of, I mean, everyone looks for something different when it comes to apps and solutions, but a lot of times we find that apps can be somewhat lacking in support. They are known for having great support. So one-on-one implementation and training, like I said, they do the same as we mentioned, having that advanced inventory option, but still being able to stay in the accounting solution that you want. So handling all of that kind of outside of QuickBooks and then just bringing in what we need and what we tell it to bring in. So automating work orders, bill of materials, bill of lading, other tools that will, speed up the process. But again, all living inside of Fishbowl and then having to only push over to QuickBooks what we're really interested in having in there. And they have different options as far as growth, right? So you can integrate not just the GL solutions, but you have options to integrate your sales tax solutions like TaxJar or Avalara, Authorize.net. You can connect it to different shopping carts again. So eBay, Amazon, I'm trying to think, Shopify for sure, some different ones. And then they basically want to help you grow. So as your clients' businesses grow and change and add more products, they're going to help you bring all of that along with them. And I'm excited for this interview, and I feel like that's next, but that's
actually, I wanted to add something about Fishbowl too that I saw in the notes. They have this whole, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have this whole ecosystem of apps as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. So in addition to the ones that I mentioned, you're able to connect, so many things to it. And I think that comes from it being around for as long as it has. So Fishbowl has been around a long time. And just over the years, they have grown, partnerships, relationships through their API and the back end being able to pull into QuickBooks. So it's kind of a tried and true solution. So if there's something that you don't see here in our notes, for sure, check their website because there were so many I couldn't even list them.
Yeah. It just seems like they have a whole sort of apps.com unto themselves.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay. So as Kelly, I'm going to turn on my screen. Yeah. Hi. So as Kelly said, we are really happy that we got to interview Ted Callahan with regard to the upcoming QuickBooks Connect, but also with regard to some app stuff. So there's been some changes and some stuff they're concentrating on in QuickBooks Online. that is really exciting, is really going to help, I think, everyone sort of, I don't know, like be able to have their voices heard more readily.
Yes.
And I will let Ted explain all that to you. Let me just open this up. We did this interview about what, a week ago?
It's about
10 days ago, something like that.
yeah,
And
it wasn't too long ago, so it's fresh.
yeah, hold on just a second.
And I will say that with all of the stuff they have going on, I'm sure around QuickBooks Connect, I am really happy that they got to spend an hour. Like we spent an hour with Ted, and he was just kind of going over all the things and how passionate he is about working with accountants and helping you guys kind of get
So
the
the only
fixes
thing
to
I
the
think-
different things you need. And that's my voice in the background. I will stop talking now. He will
Yeah,
explain
you
it all.
know that we
And
have
I'm
it.
gonna put, just so that you guys know, I'm gonna
So
post.
The only thing I think that we need to do for sure is
Oh my gosh.
introduce you because we didn't do the
I'm gonna post the links to the stuff that he mentioned so that you guys have them.
Yeah, and actually, in addition, we will publish show notes that will have links to all kinds of things, as well as a link to a recording of a more extended version of the interview, because honestly, there was so much stuff that I just had to cut out for time. He really shared a lot of things that are going on, so it's a really worthwhile to hear that extended thing. And with that, I will mute myself and press play.
introduce you and then we need to introduce ourselves. Yeah. All right. So the only
Oh, we lost audio. Kristen, hold on. She's fixing it, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, start over.
all right. So the only thing I think that we need to do for sure is introduce you because we didn't do that.
We need to introduce you, and then
We need
have
you to
one
introduce
question.
yourself.
Yes. Oh, you
Go ahead.
introduce.
You.
Oh,
Oh,
me, introduce
me?
myself?
Yeah.
Wait,
you
I'm
go.
confused. Oh,
Kelly or
me. Okay.
Confused.
We're here with
There
Ted
we go.
Callahan. You all know him, of course, from QuickBooks Intuit. Well, welcome, Ted. Out
Thanks for
neighborhood
having me.
watch.
Yeah,
Ted.
Mhm.
great to be with you both. Thanks so much for having me. Ted Callahan, for those of you I haven't met. I am responsible for our accountant partnership and strategy here at Intuit in the QuickBooks business.
You guys have a new program or series, whichever we're calling it, that you may want to tell us about.
Yes, no, great,
Okay.
great question. So we
we
recently
go.
launched, yeah, we recently launched several new things, right? And one of which is how can we really double down on our partnership with the entire ProAdvisor community? And so to do that, we said, hey, there's a bunch of things we should do. We should redefine how we partner. We should be much clearer about what's the feedback that we're gathering and how we're acting on that. And so I'm happy to kind of share some thoughts on that with you and the community as well. But the headline is that we get over 10,000 pieces of feedback from the community every month, just inside the QuickBooks Online for Accountant functionality.
Wow.
Just in QBOA, as we like to call it. That doesn't include QBO, that doesn't include payroll, payments, capital, MailChimp, any of those other places, just there.
Wow.
And a little known fact, 7% of that feedback is actually about the QuickBooks Online for Accountant product. 93% is about the panoply of offerings that we now have, that is that QB online ecosystem.
Mhm.
And so what I was hearing from the community was, hey, I'm giving you feedback. I don't know what you're doing with it. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, we literally have meetings every week where we're reviewing this and taking action, and people are like, well, we can't see it. And there are certain things that people are saying, hey, I've been requesting feedback on this for a while, and I'm not seeing change. So what gives? And so we said, I hear you, super valid feedback. So I've actually stood up a new team that's entirely focused on gathering all of this what we call voice of accountant, or VOA for short. Intuit loves its acronyms.
Ooh,
Oh, you
And
guys love your acronyms.
we really do. No, it's crazy. Anyway, so we've launched a new series called Your Feedback in Action that we will not call YFIA.
Okay,
That
that's
is going
smart.
to, right, that's helpful. It's going to be published on Firm of the Future, or FOTF, as we like to call it. So Your Feedback in Action, new article series. It is designed to do a couple of things. The first thing that it's designed to do is play back to the community what we've heard. Here is the top set of feedback that we've heard from all of y'all. And then secondly, what we do is say, here's what we've done about it, right? So it's your feedback, and then in action is literally what we've done because of that feedback, and then what's coming next. So what folks can be expecting.
So can you maybe tell us a little bit about how your feedback in action might be considered an update to the actual QuickBooks product?
The way that your feedback in action works is we've scoured across all of these different data points that we get every month. And when people provide us feedback through the app, right? If you think about when you're in QuickBooks Online for Accountant, we're saying, right, tell us about your experience. And there's an opportunity to type in. We log where in the product you are when you're providing us that experience. So we'll know, for example, this feedback came in through QuickBooks Online for Accountant versus QBO versus elsewhere. And so that's point one, right? Point two is when you're giving that feedback, some people kind of assume we know everything that's happening, what web browser you're in, as an example, like which client set of books you were trying to get stuff done in, and those kinds of aspects. And sometimes that comes through and other times it doesn't. And so my encouragement to everybody that's listening, right, is that when you give us feedback, number one, we're listening, right? Number two, we read that. Sometimes the feedback, though, it's a little bit like usability. It's like, okay, was it good? Was it bad? Like, we
Was it bad? Yeah, how did you feel about it?
like what specific about usability was happening, right? And so that's why I encourage people to be really precise. And what I love about the community is you are all so precise, is giving us that feedback about what was broken for you, right? What were you trying to do that you couldn't get done? So we've launched this last month in October, and we talked about it in our monthly In the Know webinar series, which is where we train the community who comes and they get CPE credit. And the feedback on that was amazing, right? People were just, oh my gosh, I feel so heard. Thank you so much. I see the partnership being demonstrated. Going back to partnership, right? We're activating, we're pulling accountants into our product teams. We've done an amazing amount of work to actually be hiring in certain places where we want actually folks on staff who are former. And so we've done a lot to be communicating proactively about upcoming product launches. So we're embedding the accountant voice across each of these different product areas. We're communicating, right, more frequently. Hopefully, right, we can be getting out. That's why I'm, talking with y'all today. And then ensuring that when we launch, you all have the material that you need to support your clients, because we understand it's a two-part solve, right? You need to have the material so you can continue to be the expert. And we send that out on the regular, right? In critical updates and other emails. We have it in our in-product discovery. What I've discovered is a lot of folks say, oh, I don't get your email, Ted, because they've opted out of all of our marketing communications. And so that's where I keep wanting to point people back to. We're putting it in the product. There's opportunities for you to sign up for the email again, and then go to the Firm of the Future website when in doubt, because that is our master repository of all of these things. So it's just, and so that you have what you need, and so that you can then be that expert in front of your clients, because we hear accountant kryptonite is when we do something that makes you look bad in front of your client. And so
of course,
I literally, I go around and tell everybody in the company, I'm like, here's the thing we can't do, right? We can't surprise accountants. Instead, we need to delight them by telling them before their clients know, so they can be that voice for their clients, because that's what the clients expect, right?
And most surprises in the accounting world are not good. Like if you, it's not exactly associated with like good news.
Yeah.
Mostly. When we're hearing that, oh, I have a surprise, there's a surprise.
Yeah. No, I know.
We don't like those surprises at all.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
No, not even a little bit.
Right.
So taking the time to sort of echo the feedback you're getting back is so great. Not only do we get to feel like, yes, like it's not going just into a black hole, but also by reading that, even if I haven't given feedback, get to see what other people are thinking about and maybe be like, oh yeah, I want that too.
I'll show you about another thing that's really exciting that we're doing. So a couple times a year, we have moments where we pull our entire engineering team together.
I heard about this. It's so cool. Okay, go ahead.
So this is really cool. We call it Global Engineering Days. Guess what? There's an acronym for it.
Of course there is.
In keeping with the theme.
Is it
and right, there you go. So the cool thing about Global Engineering Days, you don't have a boss during Global Engineering Days. There's nobody telling you what to do. You as the engineer get to go say, I'm going to go work on whatever thing that strikes my fancy or a pet project or whatever.
That's perfect.
And so it's a really cool way. I feel like we're trying to keep some of that startup vibrancy and energy in the org. And so what we've done is we've actually captured all of that top set of projects that actually can get done over the course of one work week, because Global Engineering Days is days, right? 5 days. And so we went to a very small group of folks that we knew and said, hey, upvote this. And so we sent it out. And we came back with now a stack ranked list of here's what the community is telling us is the most important. And so we're going to see how that works. And then we're going to be playing that back to all of y'all as soon as we have those projects done and landed. So you'll be on the lookout for that into the December timeframe. Yeah. So,
I have to say, and
like
some of this stuff was pretty cool. It was like, move this from here to here, or put this inside of this window. I'm like, I wouldn't have thought of that because I didn't, like, not being an engineer, I don't know what's possible,
right.
But it was like, I was like, oh, that would be a much better flow. Like, yeah, I'll vote on that. I like that one, you know?
Well, and that's where, and Kelly, we've got a lot of automation in the system, but you'd be blown away. The automation, I think, so we get 10,000 pieces of feedback just in QBOA a month. The automation, I think, can characterize, so of all of that feedback, the automation can characterize, I think, about 20 to 30%.
That's it.
So that means all the rest of it we're having to manually
goodness.
go through
Wow.
and filter and sort,
gosh.
put into the right category, and then aggregate that up and then take it to folks. And so when it's specific, it makes it super actionable. For the power of, I think, the accountant voice for us is to be really specific on the pain. And so, like, what is the issue? Where is it? Where are you having it in the product? And what I love about it, the accountant community is y'all are so articulate and specific, right? Like, God bless it. I've never met an accountant who wasn't.
We can't help it.
Right? Totally. And that's where again, like, what I always encourage the community on, right, is so each of you listening is when you have an issue, be really specific about what kind of browser were you in? What were you trying to do? We won't know exactly where in the product experience you were. You bring up a great point when you type something in. And so one of the things I'm also piloting is, hey, what would it look like if when you're having an issue, you could do a quick screen capture? Video is really engaging and it brings things to life in a very different way. It's why we're doing this, right?
And it's kind of undeniable. Like, no, look, it just did that. I promise you. Like, it's really there. It's right there.
And so that's where we start. And we want to get as specific as possible on the pain. And so you all can help us be really specific on the pain of what you're going on. And so that's the encouragement of, hey, when you give us feedback, be thinking in that way of like, what were you trying to do and why couldn't you do it? So that we have that insight and that context.
So while you guys were talking, I logged in because I wanted to see, and I'm just in QuickBooks Online Accountant. And we're talking about just the blue link feedback in the top right? Super easy to find. It just says feedback in blue. There's a comment section, and then you can actually attach a picture. So be as detailed as you want. What I was thinking. And like I said earlier, just list all the things, screenshots, whatever you got to do, but to make it as detailed as possible because it's going to go to you guys, your team, it's going to get kind of diced up and then eventually make it to an engineer, and as much detail as can be passed down, I would think the more helpful that is.
That's right. Because again, like the people that come to work at Intuit, they are so customer focused. And when we give them a customer problem, they're just all out trying to fix it. And my commitment to the community is to do 3 things, right? Number 1, to make sure we are playing back to you what we're hearing. Number 2, to make sure our teams understand, here is what the community is telling us that we need to go fix.
Mhm.
And then to get the commitment from the team to come back to the community to say, here's what we're doing about it. Now, when I come back with here's what we're doing about it, the answer may be, it's not what you wanted us to do about it. That's okay.
Right.
Right? You need to have that frank exchange. That's that's a true partnership, right? Where you can say,
Yeah.
you said X, we heard you. We're not going to solve X in the way that you might want. Right.
Mhm.
And I think that kind of dialogue is so critical, because I think if we can explain not just the mission, but the strategy and the intention behind why we're doing what we're doing, and then connect it into what you're seeing, I think it's a game changer in terms of your ability to understand and again, represent our intention to the client community even better.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
much,
that was a
it's
big
much
missing
better.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's much better to know, like, oh, I keep on asking for this and it keeps on not happening. And to
Yeah.
know that, yeah, we can't do that because that would require the architecture of all the code to be
Right.
changed, versus when it seems like such an easy little thing, just change one little
Right.
thing, and
Right.
Well,
To
without
get there, who knows what
without
that
the
takes?
feedback from you guys, we don't
Right.
realize that.
The
we just think-
feedback on the feedback.
Yeah, we just
Yes.
think it's like, oh, they just don't pay attention, when really it's like, no, we would literally have to rewrite the whole program.
well, and
So
We
it's
start
almost
out
like
now-
an internal, like, app showdown, only internal.
Oh, yeah. When you guys, what was the hackathon? I think you're thinking of
Oh, yeah,
hackathons,
yeah, yeah.
and they used to do the hackathon, but internally, I guess. And I think they let them eat and sleep and stuff, right?
yes, we
Oh.
do. Yes, we do. Although we,
Well, you know,
yes, we have lots of food for them and prizes.
Okay. There we go.
They keep it fun and festive, and they like have
Aw.
costumes. I mean, they have fun
Nice.
for sure. They have fun.
When I first started using QuickBooks Online,
Mhm.
I had a laptop where my screen would glitch if I went too fast, but it was only happening on QBO. And so I went to one of the roadshow training things, the training team or something. And it was actually Rich Priest at Scaling New Heights walked me and my laptop over to the QuickBooks booth. And one of the engineers had looked at like all the settings and everything. And he was like, this is the thing that you need to fix, and it'll stop doing that.
Yep.
So it was like that next level of service,
Yes.
and it stopped doing it. I was so excited. But it was like
everyone,
stuff
bring
like
your
that.
computers to
Bring your
QuickBooks Connect.
computers.
That's right. Because
I was very lucky.
we're gonna have a dedicated team on site in Vegas to
Oh.
help folks with those issues, because we know,
Oh, you're
Okay.
not kidding? I thought you were I was joking.
not kidding.
So basically, you're saying at QuickBooks Connect, there's going to be, you're launching something. Say the name again. Not at QuickBooks Connect, but say the name of
Your feedback in action.
Your feedback in action.
We
YF.
launched. Yeah.
YA. No, yeah, YFIA.
Yep.
And you are actually having like next level, like something's weird and I don't know how to solve it, like sort of buggy issues at QuickBooks Connect, like, which I
Yeah,
was
that's pretty
just
major.
joking about. So that's pretty cool. Besides those two things,
Mhm.
what are you looking forward to
Yeah.
most for the conference?
Yeah, so QuickBooks Connect, right? We are back in person for the first time in 3 years. Yeah,
So
exactly.
excited.
And I think Kelly, as you can attest, I am a people person. I can't wait to be in person with 3,000 of my favorite people, right? So that to me is the most exciting point. I think we were blown away by how excited the community is to be back together. We actually did a poll and we asked folks, hey, what are you looking forward to most? And we've got these incredible speakers, right? We have Serena Williams. Oh my gosh.
Your speakers are like next level.
Oh,
I-
phenomenal.
I had a geek meltdown. I'll just
Good.
be honest. When
No, I
I
mean-
read that Malcolm Gladwell was going to be,
I know.
She
I was
really
like-
did. I can attest to that. I was like,
she's like,
I'm excited for Simon Sinek because I have his newsletter every morning and stuff. So
And I
very
was like,
excited.
I couldn't believe, like, she said, oh, Simon Sinek's going to be there too. I'm like, no, nuh-uh. Like, why?
Mhm.
Like, already so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. No, I mean, it's, and again, I think what I hope folks take away from that is it's another way of demonstrating our commitment to the partnership. We've changed QuickBooks Connect, right? So that's another thing we should clarify for everybody.
Yeah.
In the past, it was in San Jose Convention Center, and it was really a conference designed for small businesses. And we had just tons, we were thronged with pro advisors coming, right? The accountant community coming. And we said, we should make a change. Let's actually show the community how much we care about them by making the show all about our pro advisors, accounting professionals, and some of the other big priority partners that we've got, like our, app partners and whatnot. Yeah. And so we've changed the show. It's not a small business show. It's really partner centric, and it's 90+% accountant. Right. Nice. And when I say accountant, I mean accounting professionals, so bookkeepers and CPAs, right, in the broader community. And so it is purely dedicated to those folks. And what that means is we can be way more tailored in the kind of content that we provide. Hey, so what are you looking forward to, right? So we did this poll, and we have all these amazing speakers coming. Great. 1% of the folks who responded to the poll said they were interested, right? We put this up on LinkedIn and Twitter once we got the results back, because I was like, this is amazing. 71%, I think it was, across both LinkedIn and Twitter, of folks that responded said, oh, I can't wait just to be together in person and connect with one another.
Yeah.
And to me,
we want to see each other.
Yeah. And to me, that's like the magic of this community. Is what I love is that the folks who are just like the veterans, they know everything about everything. They've been, they literally have helped build their own success together with like the Intuit journey and the success of the QuickBooks, I don't know, franchise or business, whatever we want to call it. And those veterans who know everything about everything are so excited to meet the new person who just came, right? It's their first QuickBooks Connect. And I get chills even now talking about that, like the way the community is just looking out for one another and always welcoming new people in and lifting them up. It's just
it's an easy place. We're not working, we're not focused on clients. It's like an easy place to build those relationships and those friendships, that community feel that, of course, we're excited about seeing each other. Because some of us, Kristen's in California and I'm in New York, like we don't get to see each other as often. So stuff like that is like a reunion.
Totally. Yeah. So what do you
to some extent, like it is too, a lot, I would guess, of us are either on our own or working for ourselves. Even if we have people working for us, you can't really have conversations with them about like, gosh, I'm really nervous about how this thing is going. Like, that's not a good look to talk to your employees about that. And so there is something about being in person. I think we all learned that with COVID. And the interesting thing about QuickBooks Connect this year is there's 3 years of new people.
Yes.
There's 3 years. And how many people like started something up during COVID? I mean, it's got to be like,
oh my gosh,
so much bigger than a normal year, right?
Totally. That's such a good call out. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Okay, so one last question about QVC. Why Las Vegas?
I think, again, when we were thinking about how do we make this come across as a new thing, we've seen the amazing heroics of each of you through the course of the pandemic, right? Completely transforming clients' understandings of what their accounting professional can do for their business, right? The way you all had their backs. So yes, like 100%. We wanted it to come across as we're doing a new thing because the focus of the show is really clear, right? We are focused on all of you, number one. Number two, we said, okay, where can we go to make that happen where it feels like a really big present to those who come? What an amazing place to have unparalleled access to amazing food and right in this space to actually get together and meet. It's hard to have a party with 3,000 people, right? Turns out there aren't a lot of spaces that can do that well in that scale. And so obviously it isn't in the center of the country by any stretch, but it's really, it has an astonishing number of nonstop flights for a lot of folks to minimize travel disruption, which, as we know, is a reality of our post-pandemic life. So those are some of the reasons why Vegas. Yeah. No, so we're very excited for that. I wish we had more space, right? Like, so we got as big a space as we could.
Very cool. What is your official title?
Director of Accountant Strategy and Partnership.
Is there an acronym for that?
We can make one.
DOAS?
Oh, that doesn't sound good. No, don't do that. Okay, never mind.
Nope. Let's keep moving.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What did you want to be when you grew up? When you were younger?
Mm.
Like, what did you want to be?
Sorry, so I have this journal, and I literally have this entry from when I was 15. Yeah, I think I was 15. I'd been mowing lawns to save up money for a car. And then I said, you know, when I grow up, I want to have this electric blue Toyota Land Cruiser.
Lovely.
And I still want it to this day, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to be CEO of North Face Japan.
Oh,
That's so specific.
I know, right? So I majored in international relations and I lived in Japan.
Oh.
So I went and lived in Japan and I was like, ooh, I don't want to live in Japan and be CEO of North Face. But it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I love my time there and the people. It was just beautiful.
Wow, that's
But
awesome.
that was my ambition when I was 16. And I was like, you know, cool gear in an exotic location, I think was probably that. And it probably was inspired by that, you know, ooh, electric blue Toyota Land Cruiser.
one more thing I want to call out really quick, because I'm so glad you brought it back, and I want to let everyone know. You guys brought back brain dates, and at the time of this airing,
Oh, yeah.
the app is actually live. You can go on there, you can find a little brain date to have during QuickBooks Connect. You can submit a brain date that you would like to have. You can also put a call out like, hey, I'm interested in talking to people about this or that. It's such a great thing. And I know you guys are always also introducing roundtable discussions this year during some of the sessions as well. So there's so many opportunities to actually make those connections. If you're not good at small talk, like me, I'm awful. There are actually things that are like set up to where it's not as awkward to talk to strangers about.
I have to share a little story. I have to share a little story about brain dates. So I keep this on my like pin board next to me along with all of my conference badges. So I did a brain date and I want to say it was 2019 with a woman named Jennifer from Wyoming. And she wrote me a whole thank you letter.
Whoa, with beautiful penmanship too.
Right? I mean, like, I was like, wow, all right. But she was really sincere and really, and so I keep it there. But that was from a brain date. Like, we did not know each other before. You know, we kept in touch online, and she mailed me a card thanking me for the stuff that I had told her during our date. I thought that was so sweet. So I'll be signing up for brain dates because I mean, shout out to Jennifer from Wyoming.
And that goes back to and I love that you shared that, Kelly. It goes right back to the heart of Connective. Fundamentally, it is about.
Oh, I was floored. I was like, oh, woman wrote me a card. It was so nice. I mean, I know. It's such a whole different experience when it's like, and so now I can hang it on my wall. But, yeah,
that's excellent.
We make some really cool connections. And I'm gonna volunteer, Ted, that if you see him, you should say hi to him.
Yeah.
If you see him on the floor, if you see him walking around, definitely say hi.
Please do. I would love to meet all of you and all of the folks that we're bringing out from Intuit. Can't wait to get to see you, meet you, reconnect, connect for the first time, whatever the case is.
Yeah, especially if you're new, especially if it's your first year.
Yes.
We are at time, but I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know we didn't give you much notice, but we're so glad that you were able to make it. QB Talks is focused on QuickBooks, and our segment of it is all about apps. And so your feedback in action is what we're considering an update to QuickBooks Online and just generally speaking, the QuickBooks community. So we wanted to make sure that people knew about it. Thank you
for having me. It's been total blast. And thanks for going along.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been our pleasure, and stay safe and stay well until QuickBooks Connect, and we will see you there.
Thank you both.
All right.
Thank you
so much.
Bye.
Bye. Now we have to figure out how we're going to edit this down.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. So the only thing I think that we need to do for sure is introduce you.
Okay. So as Kristen pulls back the slide deck, you hear some of us in the background. So that interview was actually about an hour and 15 minutes long. Like we really, So we'll post the full interview. And since the chat is disabled, I had put in the questions. Susan, thank you for asking. Susan had asked for the links that Ted had mentioned. So in the question and answer section, I posted the links in there, and that also will have the show notes, and then that full interview will be there. Kristen, you know more about the captions. Keith had asked us about adding captions to the video.
Yeah, so we don't do captions on the live program just because that's very difficult. But when we post the program on the show notes and including an extended interview, I think if you go back to our prior shows, whenever we have an interview, we do caption it so that it can be seen by everyone. I know for me, I'm supposedly not hard of hearing, although I'm often like, what? But I like to watch things on my phone sometimes and not have the volume up because I might be somewhere I don't, want the volume up. So yeah, we have that going on. And there will also be links to all the things. Kelly put that link in there. It is very, very long. I will make a smaller one and tweet it out later today. The notes won't be live until sometime on Monday, but they will be there. So you will have access to those. And there will be all kinds of other goodies in there too. Just some things that we had to edit out that were kind of wonderful. We had an extended conversation about some life tips from Ted Callahan, including why commuting by boat may be more difficult than you anticipate, even though it sounds like a really good time. So there are a lot of things that are more information, some things that he may or may not should have said, some things that like Intuit is working on, some things that they really want us to know about where their priorities are. One thing I just wanted to call out that I really was upset I had to cut, but just for balance, I just did. One of the things that he said that I thought was so interesting, and that I think we as accountants and bookkeepers sometimes forget, is that, QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, all their products are kind of trying to serve two audiences that have vastly different knowledge bases about what they're looking at, what the numbers mean. So often when we see something and go, why did this change? Why is this like this? He said, we're thinking about it in terms of our hardest client, but they may have done that for that small business owner who can't afford us yet, so that they don't get scared off by QuickBooks by being intimidated when they first log in. So it was just something to think about.
That was, the business view versus accountant view. And he said that a lot of times what they see is when people sign up, they're all gung-ho, and then they get in there and they get a little scared, and then they don't come back for months, which I think we know as accountants, because they usually connect the bank and then 6 months later say, hey, I got in there, I connected it, and then I never looked at it again. So I also want to say, Paula, I see that you have your hand up, but I don't have a way of calling on you. So if you have a question, you can put that in the Q&A, and I'm happy to answer it live or answer it in chat. One more thing that I did post with the links that I wanted to mention, Kristen and I are on a panel for Future Forward that Insightful Accountant is hosting. It is 2 days of a free virtual conference. I did put the link in those links that I mentioned so that you can register. We're going to be talking about niche practices. So me with e-commerce, Kristen with restaurants, Diane Gilson, who is on here, will be talking about construction, and we will also have somebody talking about nonprofits. So sign up for that. We're going to talk about our different processes in tech and how it's helped our firms grow. And then also, if you are maybe thinking about niching and have some questions, we'll be there to answer those questions. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I don't think so. We just want to give another shout out to Rewind. Thanks so much for being a series sponsor. It's great. And it's such a privilege to shout them out every time, because I don't know, they're just a really solid app that solves a real pain point. It's like one of those things, like you hope you don't need it, but when you do, thank goodness, And as always, we have merch. It's just fun accounting merch, no big deal. Great place to find stuff for your team in advance of the holidays, for good quote unquote uniforms for busy season. There are several items on there that literally say busy season casual. So check it out. Beyond that, Kelly, anything
It's
else?
time, I think. Yeah. Gary, I don't know if you have any other housekeeping stuff that you wanted to add, but
No, thank you both. I did drop the Future Forward registration link down into the chat. It actually takes you to an article on Insightful Accountant about Future Forward. But so that's there in the chat if you want to download that. And again, like Kelly said, that's November 30th and December the 1st, total of 8 CPE across the 2 days. You can sign up for all the sessions, or you can sign up for them individually. Once you get to the kind of the front end, it's called Hey Summit. You get to Hey Summit, and you can choose what sessions you want to attend. So, all right,
There's some great stuff on there.
Also,
yes, what do you
just
got?
because people were freaking out a little about the links, I'm going to go on LinkedIn and Twitter and all the places, and I will just make a post that says, here's the stuff we mentioned today. So if you have me on LinkedIn, or even if you don't, just find me, I'll just make them public, just so that there's no confusion.
Yes, and if you also want to send those to me, I will add them to the follow-up that will go out to everybody tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Perfect. Sent. Done.
All right. Great. All right. Thank you
All right.
both. Appreciate it.
All
We'll see you
right.
all
Thank you
in
so
a couple of
much.
weeks. All right. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.